I'm going to talk about how the attitude and the actions of the baby boomer generation is similar to the attitudes that Christians have or self proclaimed Christians have towards their walk of faith. And this is basically how my friend put it, and a lot of people have kind of said this is that if you notice, like baby boomers, just a lot, most of them can't really imagine that like reality is any different than like what TV says, or if they have the balls to go on the internet, like they don't really think that anything outside of like an establishment website or newspaper is really going to have anything to say. And the reason that is because they grew up in the scaffolding of a Christian nation. I know Freemasons, all that, but the people of the U.S. have been predominantly Christian, and that is sort of the benefit of a society that actually has Christ at its center, or at least claims to, is that you can succeed on autopilot to a degree. You can just kind of trust authority, and you can assume kind of that like the authorities in question will kind of have either good intentions or a good background or something along those lines, where you can just kind of rely on the machine to propel you upwards. And I mean, look at the economy under the baby boomers growing up time, basically, right? Like I forget what it was, but like the price of a Big Mac in 1972, if you scaled that up and compared minimum wage, in order to have the same affordability, the same comparison between a Big Mac and minimum wage in 1972, nowadays, you would have to have basically like $50 minimum wage in order to compensate, if you understand what I'm saying. But so that's the thing, is like the baby boomers relied on a Christian civilization, but they abandoned all the Christian values. So like divorce, homosexuality, drugs, all that stuff. And then a lot of Christians are that same way, where like they basically rely on the fact that they go to church, they believe in Jesus, they read their Bible, and they pray. So good works are like almost like a swear word in modern Christianity. The idea that like there is like an objective, and obeying God's commandments, the idea that there's like an objective standard, an objective reward system for actually doing a good job, which ironically makes them communists in a way, because they're like everyone should get paid the same. You know what I mean? So this is what's taken over the church, is that actually being zealous for the Lord and for the faith is looked down on. And so that's the end of my spiel about how modern Christians are just like the baby boomers in that way. God bless.